शाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकञ्चन गौराङ्गी राध्ये वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Haribo. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. No problem.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Jenny Prabhu, you want to start?
Oh, great chapter. I love it.
Yes, Prabhu. It's special.
Yes. Can I start?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Krishna enters Mathura. While Akrura was offering his prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord disappeared from the water exactly as an expert dramatic actor changes his dress and assumes his original feature. After Vishnumurti disappeared, Akrura got out of the water. Finishing the rest of his ritualistic performance, he went near the chariot of Balaram and Krishna and was struck with wonder. Krishna asked whether he had seen something wonderful within the water or in space. Akrura said, "My dear Lord, all wonderful things that are happening within this world, either in the sky or in the water or on the land, are factually appearing in your universal form. So when I have seen you, what wonderful things I have not seen." This statement confirm the Vedic version that one who knows Krishna knows everything, and one who has seen Krishna has seen everything, regardless of how wonderful a thing may be. My dear Lord, Akrura continued. They cannot be anything more wonderful than your transcendental form. When I have seen your transcendental form, what is there left to see? After saying this, Akrura immediately started the chariot. By the end of the day, they had almost reached the precinct of Mathura. When passing from Vrindavan to Mathura, all passers by along the way who saw Krishna and Balaram could not help but look at them again and again. In the meantime, the other inhabitants of Vrindavan, headed by Nanda and Upananda, had already reached Mathura by going through forest and river, and they were awaiting the arrival of Krishna and Balaram. Upon reaching the entrance to Mathura, Krishna and Balaram got down from the chariot and shook hands with Akrura. Krishna informed Akrura, "You may go home now because we shall enter Mathura along with our associates." Akrura replied, "My dear Lord, I cannot go to Mathura alone. Leaving you aside, I am your surrendered servant. Please do not try to avoid me. Please come along with me, with your elder brother and coward boy friends, and sanctify my house. My dear Lord, if you come, my my home will be sanctified by the dust of your lotus feet. The water emanating from perspiration of your lotus feet, namely the Ganges, purifies everyone, including the forefathers, the fire god, and all the demigods. King Bali Maharaj has become famous simply by washing your lotus feet, and all his relatives have achieved the heavenly planet due to his contact with the Ganges water. Bali Maharaj himself enjoyed all material opulence and later on was elevated to the highest exalted position of liberation. The Ganges water not only sanctified the three worlds, but is carried on the head of Lord Shiva. O Supreme Lord of all lords, O Master of the universe, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. On hearing this, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna replies, Akrura, I shall surely come to your home with my elder brother Balaram, but only after killing all the demons who are envious of the Yadu dynasty. In this way I shall please all my relatives. Akrura became a little disappointed by these words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he could not disregard the order. He therefore entered Mathura and informed Kamsa about the arrival of Krishna, and then he entered his own home. After the departure of Akrura, Lord Krishna, Balaram, and the cowherd boy entered Mathura to see the city. They observed that the gate of Mathura was made of first-class marble, very well constructed, and the doors were made of pure gold. There were gorgeous gardens all around, and the whole city was encircled by cannons, so that no enemy could enter very easily. They saw that all the crossing of the roads were decorated with gold, and there were many rich men's houses, all appearing symmetrical, as if constructed by one engineer. The house was decorated with costly jewels, and each and every house had nice compounds of tree, fruits, flower. The gardens, corridor, and verandas of the houses were decorated with silk cloth and embroidery work in jewel and pearls. In front of the balcony windows were pigeons and peacocks walking and cooing. All the grain dealers' shops within the city were decorated with different kinds of flower and garlands, newly grown grass, and blossoming roses. The central door of the house were decorated with water pots filled with water, and a mixture of water and yogurt was sprinkled all around. There were flowers decorating with burning lamps of different sizes over the doors, and there were also decoration of fresh mango, leaves, and silk festoons on all the doors of the houses. When the news spread that Krishna, Balaram, and the cowherd boys were within Mathura city, all the inhabitants gathered, and the ladies and girls immediately went up to the roofs of the house to see them. They had been awaiting the arrival of Krishna and Balaram with great anxiety, and in their extreme eagerness to see Krishna and Balaram, the ladies did not dress themselves very properly. So some of them places they dressed in the wrong place, some anointing the eyes on one side only, and some wore ankle belt only on one leg or only one earring. Thus in great haste, not even decorated properly. They came to see Krishna from the roofs. Some of them had been taking their lunch, but as soon as they heard that Krishna and Balaram were in the city, they left their eating and ran to the roof. Some of them were in the bathroom, taking the bath, but without properly finishing the bath, they came to see Krishna and Balaram, passing by very slowly and smiling. Lord Krishna immediately stole their hearts. He who is the husband of the goddess of fortune passed through the street like an elephant. For a very long time, the woman of Mathura has heard about Krishna and Balaram and their uncommon characteristic, and they were very much attracted and eager to see them. Now, when they actually saw Krishna and Balaram passing on the street and saw them sweetly smiling, the ladies' joy reached the point of ecstasy. When they actually saw them with their eyes, they took Krishna and Balaram within their hearts and began to embrace them to their fullest desire. Their hairs stood up in ecstasy. They had heard of Krishna, but they had never seen him, and now their longing was relieved after going up on the roof of the palaces of Mathura. The ladies began to shower flowers upon Krishna and Balaram. When the brothers were passing through the street, all the brahmanas in the neighborhood also went out with sandalwood and flowers and respectfully welcomed them to the city. All the residents of Mathura began to talk among themselves about the elevated and pious activity of the people of Vrindavan. The residents of Mathura were surprised at the pious activities that the cowherd men in Vrindavan must have performed in their previous life to be able to see Krishna and Balaram daily as cowherd boys. While Krishna and Balaram were passing in this way, they saw a washerman and dyer of clothing. Krishna was pleased to ask him for some nice clothing. He also promised that if the washerman would deliver the nicest dyed clothes to him, he would be very happy and all good fortune would be his. Krishna was neither beggar, nor was he in need of clothing. But by this request, he indicates that everyone should be ready to offer to Krishna whatever he wants. That is the purpose of Krishna consciousness. Unfortunately, this washerman was a servant of Kamsa, and therefore could not appreciate the demands of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the effect of bad association. He could have immediately delivered the clothing to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who promised him all good fortune. But being a servant of Kamsa, the sinful demon, could not accept the offer. Instead of being pleased, he was very angry and refused the Lord's request, saying, "How is it that you are asking clothing which is meant for the king?" The washerman then began to instruct Krishna and Balaram. "My dear boys, in the future, don't be so impudent as to ask for things which belong to the king. Otherwise, you will be punished by the government men. They will arrest you and punish you, and you will be in difficulty." I have practical experience of this fact. Anyone who unlawfully wants to use the king's property is very severely punished. On hearing this, Lord Krishna, the son of Devaki, became very angry. Here he comes at the washerman and striking him with the upper portion of his hand. He separated the man's head from his body. What a fool. The washerman fell down dead on the ground. In this way, Lord Krishna confirmed the statement that every limb of his body is capable of doing everything he likes without a sword, but simply with his hand. He cut off the head of the washerman. This is proof that the Supreme Lord is omnipotent. If he wants to do something, he can do without extraneous help. After this ghastly incident, the employees of the washerman immediately dispersed, of course, leaving the clothing. Krishna and Balaram took possession of it and dressed according to their choice. The rest of the clothes were offered to the cowherd boys, who also used them as they desired. What they did not use remained there. They then continued to proceed. In the meantime, a devotee tailor took the opportunity of service and prepared some nice clothes from the clothes of Krishna and Balaram. Thus, being very nicely attired, Krishna and Balaram look like elephant dressed with colored clothing on the full moon day of the dark moon. Krishna was very much pleased with the tailor and gave him the benediction of Salupya Mukti, which means that after leaving his body, he would be liberated and would attain a body exactly like four-handed Narayanas in the Vaikuntha planets. He also granted him that as long as he would live, he would earn sufficient opulence to be able to enjoy sense gratification. By this incident, Krishna proved that those who are Krishna-conscious devotees will not be lacking material enjoyment and sense gratification. They will have sufficient opportunity for such things, but after leaving this life, they will be allowed to enter the spiritual planets of Vaikuntha Loka or Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan. After dressing nicely, Krishna and Balaram ran to a florist of the name of Sudama. As soon as they reached the precinct of his house, the florist immediately came out and with great devotion fell down on his face to offer his respectful obeisances. He offered a nice seat to Krishna and Balaram and asked his assistant to bring out flowers and bitter nuts smeared with pulp of chandana. The florist welcomed greatly satisfied the Lord. The florist very humbly and submissively offered his prayer to the Lord, saying, "My dear Lord, because you have come to my place, I think all my forefather and all my worshipper superiors are pleased and delivered. My dear Lord, you are the supreme cause of all causes of this cosmic manifestation, but for the benefit of the resident of this earthly planet, you have appeared with your plenary portion to give protection to your devotees and annihilate the demons. You are equally disposed as the friends of all living entities. You are the super soul and you do not discriminate between friends and enemies. Yet you are pleased to give your devotees the special result of their devotional activities. My Lord, I am praying that you please tell me whatever you wish me to do, because I am your eternal servant. If you will allow me to do something, it will be a great favor to me." The florist, Sudama, was greatly pleased within his heart by seeing Krishna and Balaram in his place, and thus, as his choicest desire, he made two exquisite garlands of various flowers and presented them to the Lord. Both Krishna and Balaram were very pleased with his sincere service, and Krishna offered the florist his salutation benediction, which he always prepared to bestow upon the surrendered soul. When the florist was offered benediction, he begged from the Lord that he might remain his eternal servant in devotional service, and by such service do good to all living creatures. By this, it is clear that the devotee of the Lord in Krishna consciousness should not be simply satisfied by his own advancement in devotional service. He must be willing to work for the welfare of all others. This example was followed by the six Goswami of Vrindavan. It is therefore stated in their prayer, Lokanam ita kalina. Vaishnava, or devotees of the Lord, are not selfish. Whatever benefit they derive from the Supreme Personality of Godhead as benediction, they want to distribute to all other persons. That is the greatest of all humanitarian activities. Being satisfied with the florist, Lord Krishna not only gave him benediction for whatever he wanted, but over and above that, he offered him all material opulences, family prosperity, long duration of life, and whatever else his heart desired within this material world. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 40th chapter of Krishna. Krishna enters Mathura. Thank you very much for
Prabhu,
reading.
thank you
Hare
so
Krishna Prabhu, thank you for your reading.
Boo.
Haribol
Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna.
please accept my obeisances.
much.
All glories to
Krishna
Sri
Lagman Prabhu,
Hare
Dana.
Krishna Prabhu,
Hare
please
Krishna,
number
please
obeisance
accept
Prabhu,
my
Srila
humble
Prabhupada.
obeisance of Lord
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna,
Hare
accept
Krishna
you.
Dina Krishna Das Prabhu,
Oh,
very
Hare
long
Hare
Krishna
time.
Krishna Vivek
Prabhu,
Prabhu, Dandat
Hare
Pranam Jai
Krishna Prabhu,
Prabhupada.
Dana Pranam Jai Shri. Dina Krishna Prabhu was very long time we met in like we didn't met to
Yes,
like
since I joined the temple, I mean, I've never
yes,
joined reading
mm,
sessions.
yes,
yes,
Prabhu. I
so
think
very nice
summer
to
was
see you,
busy.
Prabhu.
Yeah, this summer was special.
Yes. So did the florist attain Sarupya Mukti? Was it like that?
Looks like, because we know that those demons who are killed by Krishna, they go to Brahma Jyoti. But maybe I misheard. Need to. You see Sarupya Mukti.
But was it the florist? Was
Krishna.
Krishna was very much Taylor. It was
Taylor.
Taylor who made the clothes. Yeah, it was the florist.
Yes.
Yes, yes, the tailor.
But what about Sudam?
Sudam, after the pastime of they wear the like dress and they were in the night moon. After the pastime, Sudama enters to the kingdom of
Yes.
Krishna. That pastime is different. This pastime is two
Okay.
different pastimes in one.
Karibol, we can read one more. Let's read one page each. Who wants to start?
May I start?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhu,
Chapter.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Oh,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Dandat Pranam Jai Prabhupada.
Vasudev Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Jai Sa Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Bhaktajad. Please accept my obeisances, O Ganesha Prabhupada.
Chapter
Oh,
41.
Bhaktajad
What
is
is
not
it
here,
called?
Prabhu.
Yeah, he's not here.
I'm
Hare
going to find
Krishna,
you.
Kapil Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Jai Shla Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Jani Prabhu, Vasudev Krishna Prabhu joined, not Jad Prabhu.
Why?
Okay,
Who is we know
my
the
bad.
Krishna Prabhu? Why did he leave the group?
Who, Prabhu?
We know the Krishna Prabhu.
Oh, when? Now.
Just now. Hare Krishna League.
Really, I didn't notice that.
In the Hare Krishna League.
Maybe randomly. I don't know.
But
By
he's in the
accident, I
temple,
mean.
right?
Yes, Prabhu, he's in the
Yes,
temple.
he's in the temple. There's no way that he left.
Yes, Prabhu. Maybe he's changing some account or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Too many messages coming in.
What is the chapter called, Prabhu? Can you scroll up a little bit? Yes, thank you. So chapter 41, the breaking of the bow in the sacrificial arena. Oh, that's a nice chapter, actually.
So what is the sacrificial arena? Is this the Kamsas?
Yes.
Is this where the elephant is?
If I'm
Is the Kuvalaya Pida
yes.
the elephant? And
Yeah.
is this the same arena where Krishna will fight Mustika and the other wrestler?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And before that, Balaram will fight the elephant, I think.
Yes, Prabhu. His name is Kuvalaya Pida.
Kubja,
Okay.
Kubja, Prabhu, Kubja.
After.
Is it?
Our name is Kubja, Kubja.
Maybe it will be mentioned in this chapter.
Let's see. Prabhu.
Okay. After leaving the florist's place, Krishna and Balarama saw a hunchbacked young woman carrying a dish of sandalwood pulp through the streets. Since Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure, he wanted to make all his companions joyous by cutting a joke with the hunchbacked woman. Krishna addressed her. O tall young woman, who are you? Tell me, for whom are you carrying this sandalwood pulp in your hand? I think you should offer this sandalwood to me, and if you do so, I am sure you will be fortunate. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he knew everything about the hunchback. By his inquiry, he indicated that there was no use in serving a demon. One had better serve Krishna and Balaram and get rid of the result of sins. The woman replied to Krishna, "My dear Shyamasundar, dear beautiful dark boy, you may know that I am engaged as maidservant of Kamsa. I am supplying him pulp of sandalwood daily. The king is very pleased with me for supplying this nice thing, but now I see that there is no one who can better be served by this pulp of sandalwood than you two brothers." Being captivated by the beautiful features of Krishna and Balarama, their talking, their smiling, their glancing, and other activities, the hunchbacked woman began to smear the pulp of sandalwood over their bodies with great satisfaction and devotion. The two transcendental beggars, Krishna and Balarama, can you imagine calling them beggars, were naturally beautiful and had beautiful complexions, and they were nicely dressed in colorful garments. The upper portions of their bodies were already very attractive, and when the hunchbacked woman smeared their bodies with sandalwood pulp, they looked even more beautiful. Krishna was very pleased by this service, and he began to consider how to reward her. In other words, in order to draw the attention of the Lord, the Krishna conscious devotee has to serve him in great love and devotion. So yeah, if we want Krishna to notice us, yeah, we need to serve him nicely. Krishna cannot be pleased by any action other than transcendental loving service unto him. Thinking like this, Lord Krishna pressed the feet of the hunchbacked woman with his toes, and capturing her cheeks with his fingers gave her a jerk in order to make her straight. At once the hunchbacked woman looked like a beautiful straight girl, with broad hips, thin waist, and very nice well-shaped breasts. Since Krishna was pleased with the service of the hunchbacked woman, and since she was touched by Krishna's hands, she became the most beautiful girl among women. This incident shows that by serving Krishna, the devotee immediately becomes elevated to the most exalted position. In all respects, devotional service is so potent that anyone who takes to it becomes qualified with all godly qualities. Krishna was attracted to the hunchbacked woman not for her beauty, but for her service. As soon as she rendered service, she immediately became the most beautiful woman. A Krishna conscious person does not have to be qualified or beautiful. After, after becoming Krishna conscious and rendering service unto Krishna, he becomes very qualified and beautiful. Hare Krishna, anyone can continue next. If we
Yes,
have time.
Thank you
yes,
so much.
bro, I can
Hare
continue.
Krishna. Where? No. But Pajad was there, but now he's not there.
Yeah, I saw him too.
Yes,
Yes, bro, I can continue now. I
yes,
think
Prabhu. Thank you,
so.
Vivek.
Okay. Okay. When The woman was turned by Krishna's favor into an exquisitely beautiful angel. She naturally felt very much obliged to Krishna, and she was also attracted by his beauty. Without hesitation, she caught the rear part of his cloth and began to snatch it. She smiled frighterously and admitted that she was agitated by lusty desires. She forgot that she was on the street and before the elder brother of Krishna and his friends. She frankly proposed, uh, purpo- proposed to Krishna, "My dear hero, I cannot leave you in this way. You must come to my place. I am ready very much. Sorry, I'm ready already very much attracted to your beauty. So I must receive you. Will for you are the best among males. You must also be very kind upon me." In plain words, she proposed that Krishna come to her home and satisfy her lusty desires. Krishna, of course, felt a little bit embarrassed in front of his elder brother Balarama, but he knew that the girl was simple and attracted. Therefore, she simply smiled at her words, looking forward his coward boyfriends. He replied to the girl, "My dear beautiful girl, I am very much pleased by your invitations, and I must come to your home after finishing my other business here. Such a beautiful girl like you is the only means of flow, slow, sorry, so like for a person like me. Uh, for I am away from home and not married. Certainly, as a suitable girlfriend, you can give us relief from all kinds of mental agitation." Krishna satisfied the girl in this way with sweet words. Leaving her there, he began to proceed down the street of the marketplace where the citizens were prepared to receive him with various kinds of presentations, especially betel nuts, flowers, and sandalwood. The merchantly men in the market worshipped Krishna and Balarama with great respect. When Krishna was passing through the street, all the women
There's some cooking scene going on. Is this Lebahang
women
Pro's kitchen?
maybe
This is
Maybe.
this is this is
Ido.
Transcendental Kitchen. Haribo.
Very good. Very nice, Prabhu.
Yes, it looks very nice.
Hmm.
Okay, Prabhu can continue.
Yes, all women in the surrounding houses came to see him, and some of the younger ones almost frightened, being captivated by his beauty. Their hair and tight dresses loosened, and they forgot where they were standing. Krishna next inquired from the citizens as to the location of the place of sacrifice. Kamsa had arranged for the sacrifice called Dhanur Yagna, and to designate this particular sacrifice, he had placed a big bow near the sacrificial altar. And the bow was very big and wonderful and resembled the rainbow in the sky. Within the sacrificial area, this bow was protected by many constables and watchmen engaged by King Kamsa. As Krishna and Balarama approached the bow, they were warned not to go nearer. But Krishna ignored this warning. He forcibly went up and immediately took the big bow in his left hand. After steering the bow in the presence of the crowd, he drew it and broke it at the middle into two parts, exactly as an elephant breaks sugar cane in the field. Everyone present appreciated Krishna's power. The sound of the bow cracking filled both sky and land, and was heard by Kamsa. When Kamsa heard what had happened, he began to fear for his life. The caretaker of the bow, who was standing by watching, became very angry. He ordered his men to take up weapons, and he began to rush towards Krishna, shooting, uh, arrest him, kill him. Krishna and Balarama were surrounded. When there was the threatening motions of the gods, they became angry, and taking up the two pieces of the broken bow, they began to beat off all the caretaker's men. While the east turmoil was going on, Kamsa sent a small group of troops to assist the caretakers, but both Krishna and Balarama fought with them also and killed them. After this, Krishna did not proceed further into the sacrificial area, but went out of the gate and proceed towards their resting camp. Along the wo- along the way, he visited various places in Mathura city with great delight, seeing the activities and wonderful prowess of Krishna. All the citizens of Mathura began to consider the two brothers to be demigods who had come down to Mathura, and they all looked upon them with great astonishment. The two brothers strolled um, carefree in the street and not caring for the law and order of Kamsa. When evening came, Krishna and Balrama, with their covered boyfriends, went to the outskirts sorry, strips of the city, where all their cars were assembled. Those Krishna and Balarama began some preliminary hints of their arrival to Kamsa, and he could understand what severe type of danger was awaiting him the next day in the sacrificial area. When Krishna and Balarama were going from Vrindavan to Mathura, the inhabitants of Vrindavana had imagined the great fortune of the citizens of Mathura in being able to see the wonderful beauty of Krishna, who is worshipped by his pure devotees as well as the goddess of fortune. The fantasies of the residents of Vrindavana were actually released after the citizens of Mathura became fully satisfied by seeing Krishna. When Krishna returned to his camp, he was taken care of by the servants who washed his lotus feet, who gave him a nice seat, and offered him milk and palatable dishes of foodstuffs. After taking supper and thinking of the next day's program, he very peacefully began to take rest. Thus, he passed the night there. On the other side, when Kamsa came to understand about the breaking of his wonderful bow and killing of the caretaker and soldiers by Krishna, he could partially release the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He could realize that the eighth son of Devaki had appeared, and that now his death was impedient. Thinking of his impedient death, he could not rest the entire night. He began to have many inauspicious visions, and he could understand that both King Krishna and Balarama, who had approached the president of the city, where his messengers of death, Kamsa began to see various kinds of inauspicious signs, both awaken and dreaming. When he looked in the mirror, he could not see his head, although the head was actually present. He could see the luminaries in the sky in double, although there was only one seat factually. He began to see holes in his shadow, and he could hear high buzzing sound within his ears. All the trees before him appeared to be made of gold, and he could not see his own footprints in dust or muddy clay. In a dream, he was various kinds of ghosts being carried in a carriage drawn by donkeys. He also dreamed that someone gave him poison and he was drinking it. He dreamed also that he was going naked with a garland of flowers and was smearing oil all over his body. Those as Kamsa was various Kamsa saw various signs of death, both awakened and sleeping. He could understand that death was certain, and those his great anxiety he could not rest that night. Just after the night expired, he busily arranged for the wrestling match. The wrestling area was nicely cleansed and decorated with flags, festoons, and flowers, and the match was announced by the beating of kettle drums. The ba- platform appeared very beautiful due to streamers and flags. The, different types of galleries were arranged for respectable persons, kings, kings, brahmanas, and kshatriyas. The various kings had has the kings the various kings had reserved thrones and other had arranged seats also. Kamsa finally arrived, accompanied by various ministers and secretarians, and he sat on the raised platform especially meant for him. Unfortunately, although he was sitting in the center of all governing executive heads, his heart was pal, pal, palpitating in fear of death. Cruel death eventually does not care even for a person as powerful as Kamsa. Not care even for a powerful Kamsa. Oh. When death comes, it does not care for anyone exalted position. When everything was complete, the wrestlers who were be exhibit their skills before the assembly walk into the area. They were decorated with bright ornaments and dress. Some of the famous wrestlers were Ch- Chanura, Mustika, Sala, uh, Kuta, and Tosala. Being enlivened by the musical concert, they passed through with great alacrity. Alacrity. Oh my God. All the respectable covered men who came from Vrindavana headed by Nanda, were also welcomed by Kamsa. After presenting Kamsa with the milk products they had brought with them, the covered men also took their respective seats by the side of the king on a platform especially meant for them. Those ends of the Bhaktivedanta purport of 41st chapter of Krishna, the breaking of the bow in the sacrificial area. Arena.
Ribo, thank you so much, bro.
Ribu. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, this was the supreme wrestling match. Yesterday, I met the two persons, and the other one, he said he's a wrestler. I should have told him this story. It didn't came to my mind, but now I'm reading this. I should have told him that you like wrestling. I can describe you the supreme wrestling story. Because imagine they like to go watch the fight night. It's usually some 2 hours, 3 hours. But imagine the persons who get to see this supreme wrestling match. There was Shanura, Mustika, Shala, Kuta, and Toshala. They were like the great. This is like the greatest lineup for the wrestling night, and versus Krishna and Balaram. Because usually one fighter, when there's a fighting night in material world, one fighter fights with one person, and they prepare for many months for that fight. what Krishna and Balaram did, they had many opponents, but two persons they challenged them all. And also they were giving milk products. That reminded me that actually there is residents of Vrindavan where even though they were, from forest area and like this, they were really rich actually because they had so much milk products and they did milk product trade. So when they it was like the milk products are like their, what they are known of, what's the signature. So when they went there, they presented even Kamsa all their traditional milk products that they had. Yeah, this was really nice chapter.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
very nice.
Thank you so much for giving the opportunity to reading, Prabhu. Thank you so much for your suggestions.
Yeah, and this part was, who was that? Yeah, this part was really interesting also. Where the signs of inauspicious signs that indicate death. This was really interesting. There was many, like he could not see his own footprints in the dust. And also this
Yes,
hearing high
Prabhu.
buzzing sound within his ears.
Yes, Prabhu.
Sometimes many years ago when I was child, I used to hear suddenly some buzzing sound. I understand it's inauspicious sign. And also he saw, holes in his shadow.
Holsa.
Yes, Prabhu. He looked in his shadow, there was holes.
Yes, yes. He began to see holes in his shadow,
Yeah, and
and
all
he
the
could
trees before him,
hear
they
breathing.
were gold. And the dreams he saw, some ghosts carried by donkeys. And also he dreamed,
Like,
he saw crazy dreams. All those are inauspicious. Because he saw he dreamed that he was himself going naked with garland of flowers and was smearing oil on his own body. Some crazy dreams.
yes, bro.
He was seeing the death, but still he couldn't understand that the dead is coming fully. Because they were two little boys, so he was thinking, how can two little boys mean death? But he saw also they're powerful boys. But how can it mean death? But he was sure also this dead, they are coming. And his heart was, even though he was sitting in middle of all the ministers, his heart was palpitating. He was really anxious.
Yes, bro.
What is the next one?
But yes, bro. But same Krishna was like the the same Krishna in Damodar Leela. He was fairy.
Yes, bro. Yes, bro.
So beautiful.
Yes, next chapter will be the elephant Kuvalaya Pida. But tomorrow we continue this. Haribo.
Yes, bro. Vibo.
Thank you for your kind association.
Thank you
Verse
so
to
So
you,
much,
verse to
much
Srila
for
Prabhupada.
thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for
Krishna.
thank you
Dandat
for your
Pranam Prabhupada.
That's
Yeah, I see you tomorrow, Japa session.
Yes,
Yes,
bro.
bro.
Thank you for
Vanchakалпатару
joining.
Vaishakripasintu Vyacharasya Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, who will begin the Shiksastakam prayer?
Jai Prabhu ki jai.
Who is that?
Krishna
Oh,
Prabhupada.
Vasudeva Prabhu. Oh, Vasudeva Krishna Prabhu. I was not like I was not able to.
महादवाग्निर्वापनम् श्लीयशैलवचन्द्रिका वितलनम् विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनम् Prachipadam Purnamritasvadanam Salvatmasnapanam Phalam Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam.
नाम्नामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिस्तत्रार्पिता नियमिता स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवम् ईदृशं ह्य जनिनानुरागः
तृणादपि सुनिचेनाधरोरपि सहिष्णुना मानेन मानन्देन कीर्तनया सदा हरिः
न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वां जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवता भक्तिरहेतु की त्वयि।
ऐनन्दतमिलकिङ्करं पतितां वां शमयं वामुदो कृपया तव पादपङ्कजात् सिदतीलसिद्धश्रं विचिन्तया
ननं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदा गिरा पुलकर्निचितं वपुः कदा तव नाम गृहणे भविष्यति
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रविशायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरयेण मे.
Asisleva padaratam pinastumam adarshanam marmam hatam karotuva yata tata vidatulam pato matrananatastu sa eva narpanaha. Hare Krishna.
Translation. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy name, by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself lost and destroying the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire so many lords that I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth.
O
O
son of
son of
Maharaj, please continue, bro. Sorry.
Hare Krishna. Yes, sorry, Prabhu. O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love following constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice take wet? And when will the hairs of my body stand on the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in this world in your absence.
I know no one. Uh, I know no one but I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Haribo.
Haribo.
Jai.
Jai.
The first offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy names of the Lord.
Yes, Prabhu. This is correct. Second offense.
To blaspheme to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or independent to the name of the Lord Vishnu. Hippo.
To disobey the orders of
Maybe.
the master, consider him as an ordinary person. Blaspheme.
Fourth one is like which one? To consider chanting, like to consider
Blaspheme.
to consider
Vedic
the
scriptures.
sorry okay sorry
To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures.
Yes.
to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures with the possibility of the Vedic version.
Yes, Prabhu, that's correct.
To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna, the glories of chanting Hare Krishna as an imagination.
To give some mundane interpretation to the chanting of the holy name. Haribo.
To 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 to, to commit sinful activities on the holy chanting of holy name. Word.
Yes, Prabhu.
Eighth one we have to consider the to consider chanting of Hare Krishna to be an auspicious ritualistic activities which is offered in the Vedas as spiritive activities karma kanda.
Yes, Prabhu. To instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
To instruct a faithless person about the glory of the holy name.
10. Last one, I showed it.
Not a complete faith in the whole learning of holy name and maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema Haribo Vanchagal Pataru Pavamebhyo Vishnu Namo
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnava.
Ranjan Prabhu.
Ananda Gaudiya Vaishnava ki jai. Shila Prabhupada ki
Jai
jai.
Jai
Gaura Premanande. Haribo.
Haribo